I'm not going to lie, this might be the most controversial AFL video I've literally ever made on the channel, because at the end of the day, everyone and their dad is going to have a different opinion to me here. And look, I'm kind of like running into this, I'm kind of bringing the hate on myself. But today, I'm doing what no man above 12 years old has ever done, and I'm going to be ranking the AFL logos of each team in the league, all 18 teams. We're not going to be including the Tasmania Devils, even though their logo is actually pretty fire. I just think, you know, there's a chance with Tassie that maybe that gets changed. Maybe it's not the final thing. That's probably not going to happen, but I don't really know. They're not even in the league at the moment, so it is what it is. Again, if you disagree with me, please don't come and threaten my whole entire family tree in the comment section. We're all going to have a different opinion here. I'm just going to be basing my opinions off, you know, not only personal favorites, but also I think the design, the uniqueness of the logos, how I think it works with modern times, and if it's a little bit retro, does it still kind of work? All of that type of stuff we'll be talking about here. But I'm going to be starting off with by far the worst logo in the AFL, and that's probably the Gold Coast Suns at 18th. Again, I think there's like a massive rebrand supposed to be happening for 2025, where they're going to be getting new logo, new Guernsey, all that type of stuff. And thank God, because I don't know who tried to cook with this when they were introduced in 2011, but this logo just smells more than someone that would be on my 600-pound life. Like, it's just not good. At 17th place, we've got the GWS Giants, the other newest founding team. Again, who was in charge of making these logos when these teams got introduced? They're so boring. You literally have a sun and then just a G. Why? Again, in 16th, we have one of the most popular footy clubs in the league. So again, please don't hurt me in the comment section. But the Carlton Football Club, I mean, there's not really much they can do here. Their name is the Blues. They don't, like, their mascot is a man that just wears like blue spandex and like a blue, I don't know, swimming cap or some shit. There's not really much they can do. Their logo is pretty much just a C with some things around it. It's pretty boring, just like the GWS logo. Again, the Melbourne Demons at 15th. Your name is the Demons. Do you know how many awesome things you can cook up being called the Demons, and your logo is just like an M with like a plaque around it? You could have had like so many awesome things. What are those pitchfork demon things they have? Could have had some hell-themed stuff. You could have just had a demon. Again, I think they're the 4 worst logos. We're getting kind of into the average tier right now. We have at 14th, St. Kilda. Again, it's pretty boring, but in the same time, it's also like, I think, super traditional. It actually has been their logo for years and years now, and it's almost just become like iconic to them. I know they could probably do some like, they could have like a saint or something as their logo, but in the same time, you're stepping into some religious territory there that certain people may not like. Maybe that's why the Melbourne Demons didn't do it. But again, you're the Demons. That would have been awesome. Like, who cares what people think? St. Kilda's is just like gone for years and years now, and I don't really mind the logo. I just think it's average. 13th, we have Port Adelaide, because they actually only recently just changed their logo, and I still like how their colors really do work with this. It's definitely like a downgrade from their former one, but I think this one was only introduced because it was like a massive anniversary year they had like not long ago. So I wouldn't be surprised if in a year or two they change it, go back to something similar to what they had. Again, when you see people talk about Port Adelaide, both of these logos get used, so it's kind of like hard. Even though the newer one that's more boring is technically their official, you still see the older one just flying around everywhere. So I mean, they're both cool. Fremantle at 12th, I mean, at least they have like a docker in their logo. Like, I just think how the anchor is incorporated into their logo is actually kind of hard. And I mean, with the name the Dockers, there's not a whole lot you can do, and just having that anchor thing, I guess it looks kind of cool, so they get a semi-pass for me there. At 11th, we've got West Coast. We're getting into the much better logos now. The only reason this is that low is because I think their last one was probably better, probably more iconic, and there's still people to this day that say their newer logo looks way too much like Hawthorn's. Was it a copycat? I don't know. I think it looks cool. I think it looks really awesome on their Guernseys. Again, probably an average, slightly above average logo. Sydney Swans at 10th. Again, was their previous logo better? I'm not sure. This one is kind of cool as well. Overall, good logo as well. I mean, at number 9, the Essendon logo is so iconic. Like, you can go past it. There are better logos, don't get me wrong, but for a club that hasn't had too much success, they've kept their logo, and I low-key think it's kind of hard being the plane, the jet that they've got. It is really, really cool. I just think the iconicness of this logo brings it a long way, and that's why I can definitely see how people have this, a little bit higher. It is a logo that when you think of AFL logos, this one definitely comes to mind very, very quick because it's just a very iconic, good logo. The Adelaide Crows at 8th. Again, they used their colours really good on this logo. Their previous logo was awesome as well. I don't mind it. It is just the head of the crow. They could have maybe gone like this, the full body version, similar to what their old one was, but I almost kind of like their new one a little bit more. I think that might be just me, but the retroness of the old one is cool, that they had years ago. The new one from 2010 onwards, I believe, it's a good logo. Now we're getting into the hard ones. We got the awesome logos, the ones that I think are the best in the league. I've got at number 7, the Geelong Cats. So iconic. I mean, I just remember every time I look at the Geelong Cats logo, flags. I look at them winning the flag in 2007, 2009, 2011. I remember collecting like I think Herald Sun footy cards at the time, and you could make a like Geelong cat out of like 12 different cards. It's really hard to explain, very old. I'm showing my age here, but I remember like this Geelong logo from back then, and it's really become super iconic and a staplement to their team, and they just won another flag with it in 22, so I don't expect this logo to be going anywhere at all. At number 6, again, the Brisbane Lions. Good logo. I mean, it's pretty hard not to make a good logo with a lion as your mascot. They use the lion's head. They use their colors really well. Yeah, it's just really well designed. It looks menacing. It looks like something you don't want to come against and pause. Number 5, this might be a little bit more of an unpopular opinion, but we got North Melbourne. I really like their new logo, and I know their older one was kind of iconic, and a lot of people really, really liked it. I think the new one is so modernized and so well done with how the kangaroo is there. It looks like a buff kangaroo. It looks like it's been training with Arnie as well. I know a lot of people probably don't share that same opinion, but I think North Melbourne actually have one of the better logos in the AFL. It's just a shame they can't win like any footy games with it. Number 4, I have Hawthorn. Has become super iconic now. Very similar to what I said about Geelong. When I see this logo, I just think of winning. I think of them winning, 2013, 14, and 15. Them making the grand final in 2012. The Hock Ball of now becoming such a staple in AFL meme and culture. I just think of this logo. It's become super iconic, and I don't think they're going to be changing this anytime soon. You know damn well it's going to be a good match of footy when you see this logo come against Geelong. Number 3, we have Collingwood's new logo. I much prefer this logo, this new redesign from a couple years ago, to their older one. When I think of their older logo, for some reason I just think of really, really old, shitty jackets, because I knew this one Collingwood fan who always just wore this jacket that looked like it was 300 years old, and it had that logo on it. It looked super grotty, super disgusting to me, super old to me. I don't know why. This new logo, I think, is hard though. I think it's modernized. I think it's new. It also fits their new era that Collingwood are going in with Dacos again, McGuan, that's coming I think next year, Darcy Moore. Pretty much every single bloke that dad's played for Collingwood is like the new era of their team. They bred well at Collingwood. I don't know how they've done it. Richmond have had like 2 father-sons in the last 30 years. Collingwood have had 10 in the last 2. I don't really know. Their new logo, it screams the modern wave. They won a premiership with it in 2023, and I just think it goes really well. Speaking of logos that fit the new modern wave, we have the Western Bulldogs. You cannot tell me this logo is not one of the most fire in the AFL. Completely shits on their last logo. that they had. It also fits like the new wave of what the Doggies team has. I think they introduced it at like end of 2014, and as soon as they, brought this logo in, they started winning games, ended up winning their first premiership in like 100 years in 2016. And when I see this logo, as well as Collingwood, I think of modern, new, sleek, Marcus Bontempelli, Tom Liberatore, Jack McRae. I just think this logo is really good, and if you compare it to the last logo they had, it's probably the biggest upgrade ever since Bella Danger decided to dye her hair blonde. And at number 1, yes, I might be a little bit biased here because I am a Richmond fan, sue me, but at number 1 I have the Richmond Football Club's logo. I think this one screams new. I think it screams modern AFL. If I'm thinking of modern AFL and who's been good in the last 10 years, Richmond have pretty much made the 8 nearly every single year they incorporated this logo. I think it was 2012 they incorporated it, and obviously have missed out like 3 times. They just finished last, unfortunately. We don't talk about that. And they won 3 flags under this logo. It also helps that it looks really awesome, really modern, exactly what you think a logo should look like in 2024. It also uses the mascot of the team perfectly, like to the best you probably can get. It's tough though, because whether you like Richmond or not, you can't really decline that they've had some hard logos over the years. Again, one logo you could arguably say is better than this one, which I think is probably the best logo in the AFL, is the one they actually previously had, which is so iconic. It's like the logo of every single local team with the name Tigers in around local league footy teams. I think some of them are starting to upgrade to the new Richmond logo, but this old logo is still getting used everywhere around. That's how iconic it was. But again, their new one, you could say, was even better. It was even more of an upgrade. It's much more new, much more slick, and I think resembles what modern AFL is. And along with the Western Bulldogs logo, it's just so hard, and they're using their mascot perfectly and to the highest ability they possibly can. But of course, if you haven't already, please make sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel. Comment all of your thoughts and opinions on this all down below. Who has the best logo? Who has the worst logo in your opinion? Subscribe to my gaming channel and my IRL/following channels. Links for them will be in the description down below. And I guess I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye.